this is basically my little master channel output that I have. Yeah, I've basically got the inflator and the limiter on the last bits, and then I've got a bit of the dynamics on there, and then I'm actually using 2 of the EQs here. Yeah, I tend to kind of stack them up when I've not got enough channels, you know, for the bands that I need, kind of thing. So, but I mean, you hear it without, and there's quite a difference.
Yeah, can we hear some before and after?
Yeah.
Is that everything, or just the EQs out?
That's the whole lot, the whole channel strip out.
Wow. Do that again.
Definitely kind of opens the whole thing up, kind of thing, isn't it, you know? But there's on the whole mix as well, there's like there's EQs on the main drum output, and then on each of the individual sounds as well, there's a couple of elements. It's mainly EQ and compression more than anything.
Ableton ones, are they?
Yeah, a couple of little ones, like a flanger and a reverb and stuff. I think I've got the Oxford reverb on some stuff as well. I'd say when I tend to work, I tend to I mean, you know, when computers weren't that kind of powerful enough, you know, everyone used to do a lot of stuff on send and returns kind of thing, you know, so a few sounds would share the same reverb or the same delay and stuff like that, pretty much like you do with a desk, depending on how many oxes you've got.
Yeah.
But, you know, because they can pretty much handle anything these days, you know, I've definitely got more inclined to completely design the sound for that particular track within itself, you know, unless I do want to do a couple of throws or things within the mix for just creating moments, you know, I'll pretty much build a whole channel strip with everything on, from the EQ compression to the reverb, the delay, you know, any other kind of elements. So it'll be an entire channel strip for that one sound.
Right.
You know, and then you know, and then do a couple of different kind of variations of it. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll deliberately swap the audio on the channels around to see if it fits better on another channel setting than the one before, you know. So especially when I'm doing
so you have happy accidents like that, can't you, sometimes? Yeah.
Because, you know, you'll work on one sound and get it one particular way, and then you'll work on something else, and then you'll switch them around and figure out, oh wow, it sounds way better like that, and it's not what you were going for. But if you stick it on the wrong channel, all of a sudden it might just, where it sat within the balance of the mix, when you thought it was maybe one of the main kind of elements, it sounds better, you know, sat somewhere over here kind of thing. So I like doing a lot of stuff like that, because when I was working with Sasha, we do a lot of prints with guitar pedals, you know, and they'd all be slightly different variations and stuff, and then we'd stick different effects channels for each one, and then there'll be a lot of elements within the track, and we'll just keep moving things around and figuring out what works better in one element than another. So it's like you're saying, it's a good way of getting kind of happy accidents.
Yeah. Why would you use an Oxford EQ on something? What does that give you that? What's unique about that you kind of turn to that for a specific thing?
Well, there's a musicality to it, you know, especially like if you're working with bass or any kind of low end elements. You know, you can create a little notch, and you can find that one little frequency that just exaggerates the key or the pitch of the track. And I don't know, it just seems harmonically, it seems to pull out those things that are better than like other EQs I've come across. The way I kind of EQ, I'm more of a cut guy than I am a boost guy. You know, I'll try and kind of fix things that are wrong than kind of reinventing something, because if I can't get what I want out of it anyway, like for a bass, for example, I'll find another layer of a bass that's got those frequencies in, and I'll layer it in than trying to do it with EQ, you know. I don't know, I think things sound a bit more purer and kind of honest to what they were originally, you know.
Yeah. Transmod? Do you use Transmod?
Yeah, love the Transmod. As again, it's the same thing. I don't.
How do you use the Transmod?
I've kind of. I mean, I might use it on kick drums and snares if I've got one that's a bit kind of loose and I want to, you know, create a little bit of energy at the front of it. But to be honest, I use it more to kind of shave the front off things.
Okay.
To, like saying earlier, you know, to kind of make it sit in a mix a little bit better. So, because I do a lot of compression with drums. You know, I'll do a lot of individual compression on the elements, and then I'll usually do like a parallel compression, which has definitely been something I've kind of done a lot more of recently. You know, just because you can really overly compress something and then just blend a bit of it in with the original sound, so you don't lose the dynamics of the original sound, you know. And then I'll then use a compressor or a limiter on the whole lot afterwards, just to tighten the whole thing in, to kind of bring up the quiet parts of the mix.
And the Oxford limiter, so you use that. Why do you use the Oxford limiter?
Well, we did a test probably about 2 years ago, and we got a demo of a bunch of different stuff, and this basically sounded more transparent than anything. You could push it a lot harder than a lot of other stuff, and it doesn't introduce any artifacts, doesn't kill the top end or anything like that, you know. And the little enhance thing as well, I mean, I don't know what it does, but it sounds nice when you put it on. It definitely works. So it you know, my whole channel strip that I use at home now all the time is basically the inflator and then the limiter at the end. They're the last two on my channel strip for me mastering.
So what's next? What are you doing now? What are you working on right now? So you talked about, you know, your career up until sort of Involver. So what are you doing now as Barry Jamieson? You know.
Well, I set up my own label again because I'm still kind of doing club stuff, which I love doing, which is, you know, what I've been doing for years and years and years. So I basically set up my own label again to just throw ideas out there. So, you know, I can knock something up in the studio and 3 or 4 weeks later I can release it and it'll be on Beatport and stuff like that, you know.
That's the way forward.
And you know, it's fun because I've found a new audience. You know, there's new guys who are coming along now, people like Max Cooper and Ryan Davis, who are the real kind of kids of the moment for electronic music. And, you know, they've kind of been in touch and said, you know, great to hear you doing stuff. You know, I used to buy your records years ago, and it's like, wow, you know, these kids are the real it thing, and they've still got time to tell me that, you know, I inspired them, even though they're inspiring me right now, which is, you know, really, really kind of humbling in a lot of ways.